and welcome back to the Fix It Football Podcast. I'm Martin, and I'm here with Scott this week, as Liam is stuck in a hotel, totally unrelated to anything Diddy, I guess, and unrelated to any migrant potential crisis. This is just in a hotel somewhere. We're not allowed to ask any more questions, so that's the way it goes. Scott, how are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, Liam's making out like he's so hard done to. He's on holiday basically, isn't he? I don't know what he's complaining about.
It's been put up at the Ritz in the centre of London, all expenses paid, and he's mourning because he's getting a new bathroom.
Oh, got my bed made for me every day. Oh. All right, okay. So my heart bleeds for Liam.
It's only bed and breakfast. Honestly, these are first world problems. Anyway, we're here. We've got our big predictions episode next week. So this week, we're just going to run through everything that's happened in the Premier League so far in terms of ins and outs, and we're going to fix every club. Every club getting the treatment today. And that's where we're going to start. So, Scott, we can start with you and Chelsea Blues.
The mighty Chelsea. Yeah, so not a bad start to the season, but there's a few things that we need to address. So I think we've got a list of outgoings that seemingly gets bigger every day that we need to start. We need to start taking care of. I think we've got some tricky departures, like we've got Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell, probably the main two, who are on big money, have zero stocks that anybody wants to invest in.
Yeah.
So I think finding suitors for them is gonna prove difficult. I think realistically, we've got to start looking at loans and just keep them away from the squad until the contracts run out. I mean, this is the downside of paying the big wages, is that it doesn't always guarantee return. Much harder to move players on, which is coming back to bite us now. So I think outgoings is crucial. We've also got the likes of Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, who it's been made pretty clear that they aren't going to be part of the squad. I think there's a world where they both do get reintegrated. But again, we're a little bit. People have got us by the short and curlies, for lack of a better term, because everyone knows we need to sell to bring in the likes of Xavi Simons and Garnacho. So.
And they're on hold, are they, until sort of the outs happen?
Yeah, there's like an added complication of the big fine that we got from UEFA just before a few months ago. It was contingent on basically our balance sheet needs to be in the black.
Yeah.
But it's all players that weren't included in the UEFA competition last year doesn't count. So, for example, if we sell João Felix, for example, doesn't count. That money doesn't knock off the balance sheet to satisfy UEFA. And it means that we then can't register new players for UEFA competition if we don't make that right effectively. So that's why that's why it's a bit tricky. It's not just in and out. It's got to be certain players. Like Tyreek George, for example, he might be going on a permanent. If that gets resolved, that's money off in the right pot that we need it to be in. Disarcy may not be. So it's a bit of a sticky one.
So yeah, I think Arsenal are in the same boat actually with UEFA. The Premier League PSR stuff's fine, but I think getting shut of Reece Nelson is going to be a priority for the UEFA balance sheet. I don't think we're pretty close to it. I'm not 100% sure how it works. So maybe someone on the Price of Football podcast can enlighten us a little bit. So ins, are we looking at Xavi Simons and Garnacho? Is that the only ones? Is that the only area you think? I mean, because Garnacho is quite a specific area, but Xavi Simons is less specific in terms of he could play everywhere. Is that?
I think we only have one left winger in Jamie Gittins, like an out and out touchline winger who's very direct, goes at players. Xavi Simons can do a bit of everything. I think the idea is that we've got two strikers in Pedro and Delac, two 10s in Simons and Palmer, two left-sided wingers in Garnacho and Gittins, and two right in the form of Esteban and Neto. So I think that's the idea. I think those are the only two. I can't see any other positions getting addressed this time unless a really interesting centre-half opportunity comes up. But I think that list is getting shorter. I think even Hincapié, who I think would have been on a lot of Chelsea fans' lists, he doesn't really fix the problem that we have.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why you boys are looking at it. That's another weird one. But I think if an interesting centre half comes up, it needs to be someone like a Bastoni though, and even that's going to be massive money late on in the window. So I just can't see it.
What have you made of the Chelsea start?
Good start so far. I think the Palace game, we stuck a lot of flack for our performance, but I think although it wasn't great, and there was definitely there was a big issue of sluggishness around the whole team. We didn't look that fit. But Palace are also a very good team, very well drilled. We saw it again on the weekend. They're a solid team and they're hard to play against. And I think more got made of our performance than theirs. I think they were just a lot better than we were, and they just did everything right to nullify Palmer and all the difference makers that we do have. So tricky there.
Not that I'd like to make excuses for Chelsea, because their downfall makes me as happy as any club if they're dropping points. But if any club does have the excuse of sluggishness or tired, it is Chelsea this season. This start. I mean, we spoke about it through the summer, but you might get them weeks, especially early on.
Yeah, I reckon so. But we bounced back with a big win at West Ham, and hard to read a lot into it because I think West Ham are going to be relegation fodder or really, really struggle this season. So it's a bit like, how much do you read into battering one of the teams that's probably going to be down at the bottom end? But at the same time, you score 5, loads of different goal scorers across the team, comfortable away win. Yeah, at a ground that hasn't historically been very kind to us as well. The London Stadium's been a tricky one for us at times. So I think all in all, positive. We've got a big game at Fulham, with Fulham coming to the Bridge this weekend. If we have another convincing performance there, go into the international break on a high, it sets us up well.
And I've forgot my other question now for Chelsea. So hold on. I'll edit this out. I had a good question. So, and what would you rate Chelsea's window out of 10 if you was going to give it a mark out of 10 right now?
Ooh, it's one of those. It kind of depends how this week goes, to be fair, because if we end with Nkunku and Jackson still in the squad, it's not ideal because we've got players who don't necessarily want to be here, and we've kind of got to find a way to get another year out of them, Nkunku especially. So far, I think I'd give it a B because I think we've addressed a lot of holes that we needed to address, the striker being one of them.
A B out of 10. Cool.
How did you say out of 10? I thought we were grading it out of. I thought we were doing all GCSE results.
Go on.
If we're going out of 10, I'll give it a 6 so far. But like Xavi Simons and some good outgoings tips that right up near the top.
Yeah, I agree. Especially up front, some really good signings. I like a lot of them. Let's move on to the mighty Arsenal. Nestled firmly at the top of the league, and where we haven't been for a long time, despite the banter that happens. What could I say? Eze signing done this week. What I think that, and if reports of David Ornstein or anything to go by, another one due in this week in Piero Hincapié. Is that how we pronounce his name?
I think it's Hincapié, but I'm not. I might be getting that wrong as well. So apologies, Piero, if you're listening. We might be getting your name wrong.
A Venezuelan cannot be called Hincapié, and it's not. This isn't sexy enough for.
I know what you mean. Well, let's on those two, because those are ones you. Is it your highest? It might even be your highest profile signing of the window. That might still go to.
The striker is the highest profile, and it's the main one that we needed. I don't think anyone would have said we needed a Richie Eze, despite how good he is. I certainly didn't think we needed him. And it's what we spoke about a few weeks ago. And it isn't. This is as much as raising the bar, it is raising the floor of the squad, and our depth is incredible now. And in terms of the players who we're used to having available, we have players who are susceptible to a few weeks off here and there. The long-term injuries you can't avoid, but the Havertz is susceptible to a few weeks here and there. Timber is, even Gabriel and Ben White are. Martinelli has been in the past. Saka was starting to see a little bit of it. That just is what it is, and to have players who are crazy available for the majority of their career in Gyökeres and Eze, as well as Zubimendi, who's barely missed a game of football in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Declan Rice is always available. He's always fit. Like the signings that we're making and their availability can only help us. Hincapié, again, I think fits that bill. And plus he fixes Arteta's need for a defensive signing.
Yeah.
We only got Mosquera in, and one isn't enough usually.
This is what I was going to ask you about. Because when I saw that, and you sort of said in our chat earlier that around the player himself, I think he's top. I think Hincapié is actually a really, really solid player and has a very high ceiling, I think, because it's only 22, 23. But I think as a signing, I'm thinking of that from a squad building perspective. I don't understand it, because he's going to come in for, if it happens, it's going to be about 50 or 60 million. It's going to be a substantial fee. And I'm sure he doesn't want to go from starting every week at Leverkusen to riding bench at Arsenal. And when I start thinking about your similar signings, effectively, you've got Gabriel, who's your left-sided centre-half. You've got Calafiori, who can also do that job. And you've got then Hincapié. Like, I don't understand there's usually a bit of a seniority. There's a clear, like, he's the starter, he's the deputy, and this guy's the young one who might come in here and there. But I'm not really seeing that. And there's an argument for quality throughout, which I do agree with. Is it a wise idea to bring a guy in who's effectively waiting on a Gabriel injury to get any proper minutes?
I get it. In terms of keeping everyone happy, it's not probably ideal. But at the same time, we've got Zinchenko, who's publicly said that he's not very happy about not playing and how upset he is. Kivior, who probably deserves to be playing given his performances at the back end of last season, and he's still young enough to earn himself a move at so many clubs across Europe. It's just whether we can get the right fees for them. So there's a little bit of that. Is we've already got players in that situation who feel like they're meant to be playing.
Yeah.
If we can rotate that, I don't know much about this Hincapié, but maybe he's someone who's going to fight for a position. If he's available, that's very helpful. Left back is a position, while we usually sign one a year, it's a position that we struggle with in terms of keeping them players fit.
Yeah. Okay.
So while I still see Calafiori as probably first choice going into this season, we've got Miles Lewis-Skelly there. Everyone could play sort of everywhere across. There's only really Saliba or Gabriel who are just centre-backs, and everyone else can play centre-back or left-back or right-back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of versatility in there. Plus, if we can get rid of Zinchenko and Kivior, that probably frees up a good amount of wages for Hincapié, and the fees will match up similar. So I'm not sure. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know. If it brings through a lot more quality and competition for places, it can only help. And maybe that's next year's problem about keeping them people happy.
Yeah, fair enough.
As for everything else, Mosquera, Kepa, Noga, Gyökeres, Eze, Madueke, it's a 10 out of 10 window. It's unbelievable. Wait,
have you got your shirt yet?
There's a problem with they've ran out of vowels at the Gunners shop.
So the Madueke shirt was guaranteed to sell out. So it's tricky, isn't it? Tricky to get hold of.
Yeah, it's still not one I'm in love with, but I think he will be very useful in the way this Arsenal squad is set up. And coming off the weekend, a great win against Leeds.
Yeah.
But we've probably lost Ødegaard and Saka for a few weeks. Ødegaard seems to have hurt his shoulder. Saka pulled up with a mixture of a slight hamstring pull / cramp.
Yeah.
We wait and see. I've been tricked before, so he could be ruled out for 3 months, or he could be starting against Liverpool this rate. Like, there's not.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it? There's a big game coming up. That's huge game.
It's massive at Anfield, but it's why you have Madueke. It's literally this is
what it's for.
We're 3 games in, and that £50 million signing, who I was questioning like an idiot, is going to be very useful come Sunday afternoon. So
fair enough.
Yeah, I This Arsenal squad is as stacked as I've seen it for many years. The money that has been spent throughout is impressive, and I think well done as well. There might be players who we use less, but I wouldn't consider that a flop if they're just used less because of all of our players are fit now.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't see many flops on the horizon there. Even Gyökeres he had a tricky first game against Man United, but he's off at the races now, and I don't see any way back for him.
Yeah, it's one of them, and time will tell with it. But I somewhat agree. I think that Arsenal have got probably the best all-round squad.
Yeah,
it's the squad with the least, when everyone's fit and firing, it's the squad with the least holes that I can pick in it.
I agree.
Even if it's a first, or maybe even if we're just talking first 11. And I think the fact that your defense has just historically been so good.
That's it.
I think it's a matter of time before that leads to a title.
He's got to. Has to. Let's move on to... I'll let you pick. In fact, let's go to the reigning champions, Liverpool.
Let's go to Liverpool. Interesting proposition, Liverpool.
We can't say anything about Isak yet because we don't know whether that's going to happen. My feeling right now is that Isak stays at Newcastle and it gets ugly and maybe he gets reintroduced. I think Liverpool are looking for some encouragement. We might see some more public statements over the next few days. We'll see. What have you made of Liverpool's window sans Isak?
I'm a little bit unsure about this window from Liverpool. This is a very un-Liverpool-like window, as Jamie Carragher, every Liverpool fan, likes to tell you how different they are to everybody else. They don't spend a lot of money allegedly, but we know that's not true. But they've I feel like they've almost gone a bit of a Galactico style route. They've gone like what Real Madrid, you give me some big names, give me all the big dogs that you can get, shed loads of money. And one of them, Ekitike, looks like it might fit the bill. It might work perfectly. He's been off to a flyer. And I know that I've seen some people saying, how's everyone given Liverpool a free run at this guy? They didn't have a free run. Everybody was in for this guy. I think every big club was taking a look. And he might be the one Frankfurt striker that's actually good and they can actually score goals.
You got to have one out. He was at PSG for a minute, weren't he? And it didn't work out.
Yeah, like most French players at one point have been to PSG. And
is he French?
Yeah.
Of
course he is, because France are struggling for top players these days.
there was a sparsity in French attackers, so they've got this other monster through.
So I think overall though, Florian Wirtz has struggled so far, which I kind of thought he would. He doesn't. He's come from a league, though, and I think we need to remember this. This is where Kai Havertz looked like a Ballon d'Or winner, and Christopher Nkunku was a Golden Boot winner. Like, we need to be... You drop big money on players from this league, there's always a chance that you've been a bit finessed by the overall standard of the league. And I just don't think their squad is that much better for it. I think defensively... they should really struggle in transition. I think up top, they'll be okay. But they've replaced Trent with somebody who is somehow worse defensively. I don't know how they managed to do that, but I don't know how that's possible, but they did. Kirkes, for some reason, doesn't look quite right yet. Maybe he's just settling in. Maybe it's a bit of pressure.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, like Anthony Gordon had him on toast last night. He was absolutely skinned him. So I don't think it's been... Although the names look great and all the big fees spent, it's like, oh my God, Liverpool are building the super team. I don't think it's going to work out that well. And I think for that reason, you mentioned Isak staying at Newcastle. I think Liverpool should walk away.
Is it Isak or bust, or do you think they need to be actively looking around now for alternatives?
I think they've gone that far down the road for Isak. They almost kind of need to see it through one way or another. They need to do something, whether it be put in one final bid and have it turned down and walk away, or pull the deal off.
Yeah.
If I were them, that one area I see them struggle is in the midfield. They get ran through, and that's why in transition they struggle, because you've got 34-year-old Van Dijk who can't keep up at the same pace. As great as Van Dijk is, Father Time is going to catch up with him eventually. So I think I'd be investing that in some top midfield players. And you can see a few years ago, they knew that was a problem. They matched our bid for Caicedo. They were in for Romeo Lavia, and we got him. They wanted Enzo Fernandez. They knew that
Zubimendi, that was the other one.
Yeah, they've known that the midfield's a problem, but for whatever reason, they can't lock down the targets for whatever reason. So I personally would direct that 120 million, 130 million, get two really solid midfielders if there are any out there left, with a week left in the window. And yeah, I just think they've gone about it in a really good way. I don't think they've done much squad building. They've like Infinity Stone collecting, basically.
It's interesting. If you had to give a name who you think might fit the bill at Liverpool, who would that be for a midfielder?
For a midfield player,
put you on the spot here.
Yeah, it's difficult. If you're looking in the market, who could you go out there and bring in?
Oh, who's the profile? What sort of player? Like a Caicedo style, maybe Belieber.
Yeah, Belieber's that. I think he's maybe gone off the boil a little bit, but a couple of years ago he was absolute. I thought he would. What Reinders was seen as. There's another guy. I think he's called Benacer for AC Milan.
He was at Arsenal.
Was he?
Yeah.
When?
As a youth.
Oh, as a right. Oh,
yeah.
I thought you meant like recently.
But, yeah, Ismail Benacer.
Yeah, he looked really, really solid. There was another name that just sprung into my. Someone like, what's his name for Inter Milan? Nicolo Barella, for example.
Right. Okay.
He's not a ball winner, he's not a destroyer, because I think Gravenberch can kind of do that role in their starting 11. But I think he's a bit like McAllister, but better, in my opinion. Yeah. I think you would then have either some competition for McAllister or someone who's maybe a step slightly above him. So someone like Nicolo Barella, I think, would be a top signing for them. Again, it's another Galactico, but I think
I really like Curtis Jones, but I always feel like the manager doesn't, and there's probably a level above him that he sees. For me, honestly, I would get Curtis Jones into that team because I think he's that important to him in terms of talent. I can see why other people might disagree.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But maybe the manager sees that there is a level above Curtis Jones that he can get, and that's why they've been in for them players.
Yeah,
and then that in turn puts people like Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, even Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's been okay, but
I don't rate him.
Doesn't score enough, doesn't assist enough. I don't know if he does enough. Definitely doesn't do as much as a McAllister for me or a Gravenberch. So,
well, if you think about, I know the names come to mind, and I think if you look at the midfield trio that they wanted, which was basically Chelsea's, they wanted Lavia, they wanted Enzo, and they wanted Caicedo.
Yeah,
I feel like, okay, you may have an Enzo-esque, slightly different in McAllister. You may have a Caicedo in Gravenberch. If you wanted that Lavia profile, who's a fantastic ball winner and a great line-breaking passer, Adam Wharton. You could look to Adam Wharton at Palace. I think would be an absolute. I think anyone who lands him is landing an absolute baller.
Me too. I'd keep my eyes on that one for next summer.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Liverpool, and another thing as well. One final thing on Liverpool: Salah's had a really bad start, as in not involved in any of the opening two games.
Well, this is what I'm hoping, that Salah continues his bad start right up until AFCON, and then we know he's out of here after AFCON. He's done. Yeah. He doesn't even. He might as well not bother turning back up at the training ground after AFCON because he goes missing.
Yeah, he does.
We mentioned Adam Wharton then. Let's have a look at Crystal Palace. Obviously, hard summer for them. They have lost. Well, after winning the FA Cup, they lost the benefits of the UEFA Cup, FA Cup by the Europa League and Nottingham Forest being little grasses. Then they lose the best player.
Yeah.
It looks like they may lose Gehi as well.
Yeah, it's looking like he might even go on a free next year as well if it doesn't happen this time.
And from what I can gather, they haven't made the most signings in terms of backups. They brought in a left back from Ajax who who might be able to do a job. I don't know.
Is it Borna Sosa? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him at the World Cup. He was decent. He was good. I think he's Croatian. I remember him at the last World Cup. I thought he was pretty good. But that was a couple of years ago now.
Even so, they need a lot of work. They only just sort of got by. I say only just, they had their best season ever in winning the trophy, but losing Elise the season before,
yeah,
it was such an outlook for him. To then go and lose Eze, who has been, him and Mateta just had this amazing thing since January going on. Mateta seems to be the last guy standing here as someone who's turned himself into a really useful striker who can seemingly do everything.
Yeah, you wouldn't be shocked to see him linked with pretty much any Premier League team, would you?
Any.
Even if, depending in what role, like if he went to a City or a Chelsea or whoever as like a second choice, you'd be like, yeah, fine, makes sense.
Well, we'll get onto it in a little bit, but I'm surprised Newcastle, he's not been in there. He's not been on their target sheet. Well,
perfect. The most Newcastle player I've ever seen.
Yeah. I worry for Crystal Palace that I like what they do. I think they run very well. I think if they sell Gahey as well, they're going to have earned a lot of good money this summer. And I'm hoping that Glasner is allowed to go and spend some in this last week. Let's see. I have no idea what they need to fix. They probably need a player in every position if they're going to maintain a top half finish.
Yeah, I think they're probably wise now planning. You can't really replace Eze unless you strike gold on the market. There's no point even trying. It's a bit like when Salah goes, you can't replace his 35 goals. You got to just try and.
They need the numbers in here. If they can get 40 to 50 million for Gahey, they've got close to 70 million. It's 60 million pounds for Eze. Then that money needs reinvesting. It can't be going in the coffers that on Steve Parish's next transplant. This needs to be. The squad needs help.
Weirdly, I think the best thing they can do is give Glasner enough assurances that there'll be something to do, because I think he would be there. Although we look at Gahey, we look at Wharton. If they lose Oliver Glasner, that's ridiculous. That's almost worse than losing any of the players that they've lost.
Yeah,
he's just top draw manager. So they've got to give him something to work with.
Right. Let's go on to their arch nemesis. We saw it didn't play out as crazy as I would have liked this weekend, but Nottingham Forest. Talk to me about them.
Nottingham Forest. So an interesting summer, as always. They've been pretty busy. The main hole that they had, they kind of plugged pretty quickly. So they sold Elanga to Newcastle, got a very good fee for him. Got 55 million for Anthony Elanga, which I think is
fuck the market up for everyone.
Yeah, pretty much. And I like Elanga. I think he's decent, but he's decent. He's not.
Yeah.
50 million used to be like a world record fee, and now it's just for everyone.
Zinedine Zidane was 45 million quid, and Wolves have just turned down 50 million for Strand Larsen.
Yeah,
it's
baffling, isn't it?
Continue.
But yeah, so I think Nottingham Forest. And again, Douglas Luiz, great addition to the squad.
Yes, that's a good signing.
And I think Amari Hutchinson, I saw him on the weekend, looked okay. He looked direct, but he still looks very raw. I think. Not a bad addition, but that's a longer term. That's a longer term thing. I think time's going to tell with Forest as to how, because again they haven't lost that many players. Like Langa's the main one. That squad is still pretty much there, the same way that it was. Chris Wood has got off to a decent start to the season.
I can't believe Chris Wood's still going.
He's absolutely smashing goals in.
I can't keep slagging him off now. He's annoying me.
No. I mean, he's whacking goals in. You've still got a 1 year. I don't know what the situation with the 1 year is, if he's going to be back, because I know that he obviously had that medical issue.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And I don't know anything. But they signed a guy from Botafogo as well who looks pretty sharp against Palace.
Oh, is this Igor Jesus?
Yeah. And he looked all right. So I think they're covered up front. Maybe someone to rotate with Sangare in that sort of DM destroyer type role. Douglas Luiz isn't quite that. He's more of a Pirlo than a Roy Keane type thing. He's a bit more techie with it. So I think Forest have actually at least broken even. I think the only worry for them is added European competition. They're going to come up against some tough sides in the Europa League. And it depends how far they really want to go in that. Do they want to make a proper go of it and really go for that trophy? Or just, are they happy to just kind of be like, oh, we'll see where we get on. And if we go out, it is what it is. I think overall, I don't think they've done too bad for us. I think their squad is probably about as good as it was last year, maybe slightly better with a bit more backup for Chris Wood. Side
note, and one of our predictions is going to be first manager sacked. Are we going to have to put a veto on it being Nuno? It's so touchy, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, because he would not be on my list otherwise. So no. I think he did an amazing job last year, and I think he's probably going to do another good job this year if he gets the time. It's just, is there a relationship there that can be salvaged with the owner? And I don't know.
And Edu as well, apparently, is throwing a spanner in the works.
That's the big one, isn't it? And it's tricky because they've invested a lot of money into Edu to get him away from Arsenal and to give him this. His role doesn't just spread from. It's not just Forest, is it? He's got his hand in all of the other clubs in that group. So there's a pecking order, and Edu's very much above the Nottingham Forest manager, whoever that guy may be. So if he says he wants him out, he might be on the wall. But then again, there's talk. I mean, we've talked about it. Did they look at Ange? Did they look at Mourinho? Did they look at? I saw this morning Brendan Rodgers. Perhaps are they any better? I mean, I can't say this about Mourinho, but are the other two any better than Nuno? Really?
So when you got a good thing going, he's obviously got he has the backing of the dressing room. It's the guy above him, that big fat Greek slob who's just sticking his nose in on everyone. I can't stand him. Nottingham Forest had gone from being a team who was sort of everyone until they started grassing on Crystal Palace and that.
Most were happy to see Forest back in the Prem and being successful again and all that.
Everyone was right behind him till he ruined it. Got on pitch like a big fucking Jim Royal, shouting around at everyone, picking on poor Nuno, who's done his best.
Yeah, I quite like him. I'm sorry. I think we've covered
like
this in a bit. I mean, we've got this thing in football of like, oh, the owner shouldn't be getting involved. I'm like, it's his fucking club. Like, do whatever he wants. He literally owns everything. He pays everyone's wages, owns a stadium. Oh, like he can ban you all if he wants.
You want him to cur and keep footing the bill and not stick his nose in.
Yeah, like find me anyone who's accrued the kind of wealth that this guy has.
Yeah,
you ain't getting a very amenable person. Yeah, like let him. It's his club. He can do what he wants. Yeah, we've all got this. We've got this. Like we still look at football through these like rose tinted specs of like what it was like in the 20s. Like that ain't how it works anymore. So I quite like Marinakis. To be fair, I think he doesn't take any shit, and he's good value for the neutral. I think he's entertaining.
Right, let's take a stab at Manchester. I'll take United.
Go on, then.
Not a good start.
Yes, that's what we like.
Yeah, we love it. It's hilarious. It makes me laugh. It brings me joy to have to open WhatsApp and it not be about me for a minute. They have spent money. Cesco's in, Cunha's in, and Buemo's in. None of them were the right transfer move. The main thing they needed was a brand new goalkeeper and one less Portuguese captain. I feel like he's such. I really do, and I really like Bruno as a footballer. I said it about a year ago that technically he is a genius and tactically he is a menace. He's
that's a good summary of Bruno Fernandes, I think.
He's a brilliant footballer. He cannot play in this system. I don't care what you're trying to portray him playing as a false nine. That doesn't work in this system that Amorim says. And Amorim said from day one, this is my system and I won't be changing it. He won't even change it in-game. Now,
it's a baffling stance, that, isn't it? Like,
I can only relate this to Arsenal. It is baffling, but when Arteta came in, our squad looked nothing like this. That's Socrates and Guendouzi and just a mess of a club. Kolasinac, what did Arteta do? He stopped us losing. 5 at the back. This was the 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs. These wing-backs were Kolasinac and Bellerin. They're not great going forward. They were attacking, in inverted commas, but they weren't like a Trent or a Frimpong or it wasn't even someone of the quality of Diallo as a right back. Diallo, who's an attacking winger, he's playing right wing back in this system. Amorim needs to stop the rot. He needs to stop the rot, and
he does.
Throwing in more attackers isn't the answer here. And as painful as it might be to get rid of Fernandes, there's a big amount of money looming over them from Saudi that would help them out in so many areas. Most importantly, the pitch.
Yeah, agreed.
That's where it can be.
It's so interesting. Like, we've gone, like, tactical flexibility is seen as like a dirty thing now. Like, if you, it's like every manager likes to be this, or a lot of managers are like, this is my way, this is my system, this is what I do. And it's like, what if you don't have the players to do that? And what if it doesn't work? Like, you pay all this money for a manager like Amorim, who's like, I only have this one way. He's like, that's not good. Like,
all Amorim has got is a system.
I've learned this one thing. That's all I will do. It's like, that's not your job as a coach. Like,
I get that he might be convinced of this system.
Oh yeah,
I totally get it. But if you don't have, like, if you're playing chess and you've just got all pawns, you can't fucking use them tactics that you was meant to be doing. You can't.
Yeah, you can't go diagonal, can you? It's just how it goes. And it's like, I think Sean Dyche said something like, younger managers have this thing about they prioritize the playing style, whatever that is, over results. Like you said, get results, get points on the board, get some credit in the bank to then enable more investment in your way of doing things. Like, show that you can actually be successful in some way. And if he can guide United to a European finish, however he does it, he's then being like, okay, there's something with this guy. We need to sort of put our stocks in Amorim. I think the one thing I might disagree with you on is the attacking signings. I sort of disagree that they weren't needed, because when I think about who they had up top last year, I don't know where the goals were coming from. And if they'd have gone into this season with that same forward line, let's say they'd gone and invested it in a new keeper and in a new whatever, I then wouldn't have had any confidence that United could score any goals. Because I think last year their goals for last season was absolutely woeful.
Yeah, but their goals against was horrendous. They finished on -2 goal difference.
Yeah, it's staggering, that, isn't it? Man United, you can't negative goal difference.
Got to stop it. If you've got to choose one, don't just try and outscore. Use the Ange Postecoglou tactics of just, we'll just score 7 then. If you're going to concede 6, maybe don't concede.
Yeah, it's easier to keep 1 out than put 7 in.
Yeah.
I get that.
A goalkeeper should have been top of the list. You might not be his biggest fan, but I think Ramsdale was right there. And I think he's a vast improvement on Onana. He can do the on the ball stuff really well. He's a great shot stopper. His decision making might not be the best, but he's certainly better than everything I've seen from Andre Onana.
Yeah, I think some of the blunders I've seen Onana make, I don't think Ramsdale makes. If he does make them, he doesn't make them half as frequently as Onana does. Yeah. So I do somewhat agree with that.
That would have been my fix. That's out the window now. I still think there's time for them to get a goalkeeper.
I think they are in talks with someone. I don't know anything about him. I think it's Club Brugge's goalkeeper.
And I will say on the attackers as well, I like all them players who they've signed. I'm a big fan of all of them, and I think they'll do well. I just don't think it should have been the priority. I think getting the players for the system should have been the one. Chesko, we'll see. I don't think, while I really like the player, I don't think Man United was the best move for him. I think Arsenal, City, or Liverpool, who already create a lot of chances and score goals from elsewhere, can afford to bed in a striker.
Yeah, I agree.
And
he can afford a 7-goal season at one of those clubs, can't he?
Man United are currently bedding in a striker who they know they have to get rid of, and have replaced him with another one. So I feel a little bit sorry for him in that case, because physically he's super impressive. Everything that I've seen from his highlights and what I saw in the Euros, super talented. But I worry that that's not going to work out. I say worry. It'll be fun. Crossing over the Mancunian way. Let's go on the blue side. Talk to me about Man City and their summer. Because has their summer been quiet because the January was so busy previously?
Yeah. So Man City is a weird one, right? So I'm looking at what they've brought in and who's left the club. So first and foremost, they've lost two massive players. Even if on the pitch, maybe things were starting to decline slightly. You've lost Kevin De Bruyne, you've lost Kyle Walker. You've lost two massive parts of what's made City so great over the last whatever years. And I've seen it at Chelsea when you lose, even when we lost likes of Gary Cahill, who, he wasn't the John Terry of the partnership. When you lose that, and Azpilicueta and Fabregas, you lose these people of the dressing room who've been part of special times at the club. It's really hard to then replace them both on the pitch and just what they bring to the club overall. So that's a tricky one. I feel like their business has been, it feels like it's been quiet because I think they got a lot of stuff done early. They were like pre-Club World Cup. They went Nori, Cherky, Reinders, all within like a week. And you are right, they did a lot of business in January. But I feel like I feel like what City have done is they've kind of tried to go a bit the Chelsea PSG route of the youth, but kind of abandoned it midway and gone, actually, we need to stop some rot here and credit to Pep, actually, because for last season, the free fall that Man City were in last season, most managers wouldn't have been able to turn that around. I don't think. I think that would have been really difficult for the likes of a Maresca. Most of the managers in the Premier League would. That's like,
I agree.
How do you stop it falling apart? And he did really well there. But the signings they've made, Nori cannot defend. Ryan Cherky doesn't run. James Trafford. You've got Edison, a proven title-winning Premier League goalkeeper, being pushed out the door. James Trafford is in. Great Championship keeper, poor Premier League goalkeeper, in my opinion. And you've brought in Reinders, who looked okay on game week 1. Game week 2 I can't remember if he even played, to be honest. Like, he was that invisible against Spurs. I don't even know if
it was Spurs, of course, yeah.
So I've been saying this for a while. Manchester City defensively are like a sieve. There is nothing there that is stopping anybody. If you take a game to Manchester City, you will win. I think you've got Nori, you've got Rico Lewis is basically the only right back there that I'm aware of.
Well, Mateus Nunes was the other one who's listed as a defender now.
The number 10 that they signed a couple of years ago. Like, what the fuck's he doing at right back? Like, and then you've got Ruben Diaz, who looks a shadow of his former self. Gvardiol, I think he's probably the best defender that they have, and I think he's been a bit of a letdown considering the money that they paid.
Ake and Akanji both been linked with moves away.
Yeah, Ake and Akanji are going to go. Then you've got this Kusanov guy they bought in January, hasn't played a minute, basically since the game against Chelsea where he fucked up and let us score the opener. And a lot of their young players they signed in the January to be part of this youth rebuild type thing they were going for have all gone. They've all been let out the door. And then they're talking about bringing in Donnarumma, who on paper is great, but you're trying to... Pep Guardiola signing a keeper who is being forced out of his current club because he can't play with his feet. Like, what are we doing? I don't understand what the plan is.
Yeah, all good points. Even like, is it Nico Gonzalez? Is that his name?
Yeah, he was 60 million in Jam.
Not seen him.
Don't know. Yeah, don't know. He might have played. I don't know. I think he might, in fact, I think he did start on the weekend because Rodri was on the bench.
I know he was. He's been linked with a move away already.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Just on Trafford, I really like Trafford. I think he's a very, very talented goalkeeper in terms of his physical attributes. Decision making is something that can come with time. Don't think City's the place. City and Pep notoriously is ruthless with goalkeepers.
Yeah, he is.
And I worry that City move is going to set him back rather than maybe taking a different stepping stone. I think Newcastle may have been the right move for him. I know it didn't work out and City ended up jumping in.
Yeah.
But maybe Newcastle was the move there to bed himself into a competitive Premier League team. And then City, if that was the dream, if that was the dream to go back. Yeah, I mean, everything he's done with England under 21s. He had 2 years at Bolton. You won't find a guy around here who says a bad word about him.
No.
He was unbelievable in them 2 years for Bolton. And he didn't deserve that at the weekend, but it happens. And if Donnarumma's shadow is lurking, it's a big shadow to be thinking about. I just don't think Pep's the guy to nurture James Trafford, which is unfortunate.
Edison, I don't know what's gone on with him, but he's only 32. As goalkeepers go, you could get another 2 or 3 years out of him if there was no other extenuating circumstances. So I don't understand this big rush to get rid of him. But you may know something I don't about this guy because I'm not sure what's gone on there.
Rumor has it this guy is trouble.
Right.
He's one of these super talented arseholes.
Is he a maverick? Is that the politically correct term?
Yeah, that'd be. He's a rumman. Yeah, he's a handful. That guy. Hooray, Emery. Yes, he is a character.
So in terms of what City can do, I don't think there's anything that they can do. I think bar gutting that defence again, I think they're in for a tough time this season, Man City. I think their quality, they have top players still. You still got Bernardo Silva, you still got Haaland. I just don't see how they are going to be able to compete defensively for a league title this year. I just think they're just going to get absolutely ran through.
This is where I agree, and this is where I'm getting my confidence from, is that I think Liverpool and City will concede more than us. As has been the case for the last 3 seasons. But we still haven't won. No, we just seem to
Liverpool already shipped 4 goals in 2 games.
I'm happy about that.
Good.
Let's have a quick break. I'm worried about this one running too long. So let's have a quick break and then we will round up the Premier League with fixes. And we're back. And we're going to carry on fixing the Premier League. So this is where we're at. Like I said, next week we've got our predictions episode where we're going to get Scott's back in. Liam will be recovered from his hotel hostage situation.
Yeah.
And Luke Foley will be joining us. I've been promised. So I'm expecting big things. The most controversials of opinions. the Rory Jennings of the Fixing Football podcast. Where do we finish off? Let's go to Spurs. Tottenham Hotspur.
Talk Spurs. Good start.
Tottenham Hotspur. Good start. Unfortunately. Thomas Frank. Does it fit? He's probably a really great manager for Spurs. The fit doesn't seem there. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it fits in my head yet. Maybe it's just newness and stuff.
Yeah.
I like him. And I think he'll do a good job. I think they've not had a great window, though. And losing Maddison is a big one in terms of...
Yeah.
Maddison, I mean, I don't know if Maddison is what's the word? A game changer in terms of a player for you. He's just so unavailable. We said it before about availability, but he's generally so unavailable.
It hurts, doesn't it? It does. It was a great piece of business for the money because I think he came in for like 40 million. When Leicester went down, it was like it's not a bad piece of business in isolation, but like you said, his fitness has been woeful since he came, and he's not the kind of. It's not like losing Saka and him coming back. It's Even if he is in the squad, it's not like he ain't driving you all the way to the top 4, is he, on his own?
That's right. And Kulusevski is going to be out as well for a long time.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's not going to be back till New Year now. I'm a big fan of the Paulinho signing. I think that's a really good bit of business.
Agreed.
And seemingly already paying off. Kudus, it blows too hot and cold for me. Which it might be typical Spurs, to be fair. It's almost like a typical Spurs signing.
Yeah.
He's definitely not someone who's as consistent as a Brennan Johnson, for example. He might be Brennan Johnson might be less
Brennan Johnson.
What's the word? Less eye-catching, but he's certainly more consistent. No, I disagree. I think he's all right.
He's kind of worked out that nobody in the Premier League marks a back post anymore. And he just sort of waits. He sort of waits there and just. I do disagree with you on Kudus. I think he's super, super talented, and I think last season he was playing in a West Ham team that we all basically agree that are probably going to go down, or at the very least really struggle. And he was forced out of position. Really, he was playing left wing a lot, which isn't really where he typically plays. So But then again, his first season did also started out really well and sort of did boil off a touch. So maybe there's some truth in that. But I think on his day, I think he's a proper handful.
Spurs were ravaged last season with injuries,
Yeah.
as their fans online would love to tell you. But I do think they needed some defensive reinforcements this summer. Romero is susceptible to a few weeks here and there. Van der Ven has been. Dragosan hasn't really hit the ground running as much. I think he's a decent enough defender, Premier League quality, but also meh.
Yeah.
I just think there's more they can do. They had Archie Gray filling in, who was almost like an 8-10 style midfielder who they brought in to fill in at centre back, and he did well. Like, fair play to him, but that's not what he's there for.
No.
Mikey Moore hopefully will get a few more minutes. I think Thomas Frank's someone who'd be good for him. There's a lot of high hopes for Mikey Moore, and he's someone who I think people have already got their eyes on. But what do I expect of Tottenham? What's the fix for Tottenham here? They could improve every position realistically.
They could. There's
not somewhere where they are outstanding. There isn't a part of the pitch where they are terrible either. They're just 10th in my head. They'll be annoying and they'll beat teams who they're not meant to beat, and they'll lose to teams who they're not meant to lose against. And it's literally, this is the way of the Tottenham.
It was that Chiellini who said that. Wasn't it?
and Conte said it.
Well, he was right. He's right. Well, they just beat City at the Etihad. They got Bournemouth at home.
They'll lose.
They'll lose. And it's just what they do. It is literally, it's the history of the Tottenham. It's just what they do. And I kind of agree with you. Like, keeper's okay. He's not incredible, but he's decent. I like Destiny Udogie at left back. I think he's decent. I think he could probably move on from Spurs, if I'm being honest. But yeah, like Van der Ven looks decent, but super quick, but again, injured a lot. Misses a lot of time. Romero's always just suspended, so he's not much use. But Charlison's, he'll do what he did on the opening day and look like Mario.
And then he won't. And then he'll have absolute stinker for 3 months. And a few Instagram posts here and there get the Tottenham fans fired up, and that's it again.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fix is for Spurs. I think Eze would have been a game changer for them.
Big level raiser for them. I think.
Yeah, and less so in the way that he will impact us, although he'll be.
Yeah.
I think Eze will be fantastic for us.
Yeah, I agree.
Missing out on that, a little bit of the Newcastle itis is they're destined for mediocrity at the moment. They're going to have Champions League as well. They're going to want to be competitive, and it's going to be very hard work. And I suspect they need 3 to 4 more players in to be pushing first team spots. And at the moment, that's not what it is. So, my fix for Tottenham would be one more striker, and we're talking all Premier League quality of signings, not just an extra body.
Yeah.
They need another striker, another midfielder, another defender, and someone to give Vicario some sort of competition. Because I think there's room to be done there. One team we missed in the first half was Newcastle. Unlucky on Monday evening against Liverpool. A crazy match. And bridesmaids of the transfer window, it seems, missing out on everyone, the nearly men of every transfer that's been going on. And their star man
Nothing's making me happier, to be quite honest with you. Nothing's making me happier than seeing Newcastle in the mud like this. I absolutely love it. No secret, I'm not their biggest fan. And but there's been weirdly not a lot going on at Newcastle and everything going on. It's been a really strange.
It's everything and nothing. Let's park the Isak conversation because we sort of had that last week with Liam.
Yeah.
If you was going to go in and sort something out, is it just obvious that you get in backup striker and then, or a contingency plan for Isak? A striker is the number one priority. Yeah,
you need an Isak replacement, but you also need a Callum Wilson replacement as well because he's left the club. So I think that's the signings of like Wissa or Strand Larson, who they've gone in for. I think that's more of a Wilson replacement than it is an Isak replacement.
Yeah.
And again, like we said, you can't replace Isak. So is there any point in really trying? I think Liam's made this point. Do you take that 120 million and buy, 260 millions or, 340 odd million players?
Absolutely. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree. And the business that they have done, the players who haven't turned them down, Elanga's come in. And again, okay, I think they've overpaid, but I don't mind him as a player as such. Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa, which kind of came out of nowhere for me, but I think he's a good player as well. He might be that. He's not really cover for Tonali, but he carries the ball well, Jacob Ramsey, and he's also not a bad finisher either.
I think he's Joe Willock who's available, because Joe Willock seems like has been in and has been through hot patches and purple patches for Newcastle, and then you don't see him for 3 months.
Yeah,
and I think
agreed.
Jacob Ramsey can be a bit more active than that.
Yeah, agreed. So I think getting somebody into you can't replace Isak's goals, and the quality that he brings is unless you're spending, again, you're dropping that 120 million on somebody else. But who is there? Like, I couldn't name a name that could do what Isak does.
Exactly. And what Isak does as well is he pins centre backs in terms of he gives them a lot to think about without even doing anything.
Yeah. He's a bit of a magnet, isn't he?
In the same way a Haaland will, all of a sudden, he's got 3 people on him because they know if he's got one person on him, he's going to beat him. There's no doubt. Isak does the same. And even if Isak has a bad game sort of on the ball, off the ball, he can affect the game just as much.
Yeah.
You can only do that with more bodies and being more varied attacking wise for Newcastle. So yeah, I agree with you. I think more bodies is the number here. And again, like with Tottenham, they've got Champions League as well.
They do, which I totally forgot about, to be honest. But again, there's going to be, they need to get somebody in to deputise for Trippier as well, because Trippier's, 36 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think Livramento is technically a right back, but I think he was playing a lot of left back before he got
Is
injured.
Lewis Hall injured? Is he around?
Oh, Lewis Hall's, yeah. So I guess Livramento would then
Hall and Livramento, yeah.
Yeah, that's ideally where you want to slot back in. But again, even if not direct competition, a contingency plan for Trippier, because he ain't going to be around much longer.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to try and push on and get Champions League again. So yeah, and I think Newcastle, they need to get somebody's in. And I think for them, they just need the fucking transfer window to be over, because whichever way you want to slice it, it's been a complete and utter shambles and an embarrassment from... They've sort of been shown their place in the pecking order this window, I think.
A little bit. And I do feel a little bit sorry for Eddie Howe, because I think he's a great manager. He's definitely got the best out of that bunch of, that 12 to 13 player group. And they all need a few more. Even if your best player leaves, they all need a few more. If you could keep that rhythm and that spirit together.
Yeah.
But it just seems like so much has gone on. Despite nothing really going on, there's so much noise around it that there's going to be a bit of that lost. I think St James's Park looked great last night, but you're always going to get that first game of the season.
Yeah, and I went to St James's Park last year to watch Chelsea away, and although they beat us, it wasn't this fabled fortress that everyone speaks about. It was, the Chelsea fans were louder, if anything, which is not like if Chelsea fans are out singing you, something badly wrong. One thing, and this may be a podcast for another time, I think what this window has highlighted and a fix for Newcastle is the proper senior leadership at the club, the executives, that need sorting out.
Big time.
It's shown the lack of leadership and the lack of somebody really... this whole Isak thing a proper CEO would have had that sorted out on day one, or at least had a plan in place. Like, all right, if you're going to go, fine, we'll work with these clubs to your preference, and a plan would be in place. But yeah, I think their CEO stepped down 11 months ago, perhaps maybe a year ago.
After only being in the job for less than a year. So
yeah, I mean, I think in his particular case, I think he got cancer. So I think fair enough. I was like, no issue with him stepping away, but if you're a club, every big organization, they have a backbench of people who are on kind of there waiting in the wings, ready to take that job. And even if you take 6 months to hire someone, which is fine for a C-suite position, you've got to have somebody in place by now. Like,
even they went through all that stuff with Dan Ashworth as well.
What a fucking mess that was as well.
Yeah, just Sorted out Newcastle.
Yeah.
What's the fix, Scott?
The fix is hire a CEO and have somebody actually at the top of the club who has a clear direction and can get this sort of stuff like the Isak saga wouldn't happen with a top CEO in place. Like even for all the critics that he gets, Omar Barada wouldn't have had this. I don't think.
I will agree. Let's stay up on the tune and a little bit further south, but Sunderland have had a good summer, and a lot of people are tipping them for good things this year, as at least definitely to be one of the teams who stay up. I think they've still got a really young squad though, which is crazy. They've spent big. Adingra from Brighton,
I think it was,
is a good signing.
Yeah, like him.
I think that Enzo Lefebvre, he did really well for them last summer, and I think they've done well to him to keep him on board. Obviously, he'll reap the benefits of the Premier League and stuff. They spent a big on I don't want to sound crass here, but Adiara from Ligue 1. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about him, but there'll be, at least it's more bodies in midfield. It's someone like that to go alongside. I think potentially the signing of the summer, and that's Xhaka for Sunderland. I just think it's a masterstroke in terms of getting an experienced winner. There's no one more experienced than that. He's been over to Germany and done it. He had a fantastic few years. He had a bad year and a half at Arsenal, but then he had a really fantastic couple of years at Arsenal. Became a bit of a favourite. Can do anything in midfield. If you wanted to sit back, if you wanted to join up with the attack, he can lead. He's played 100,000 times for Switzerland as captain. He's everything that you need in terms of leading a young changing room, and especially a lot of players that are new to the Premier League. I think it's a fantastic signing. How they do, I haven't seen enough of them yet. Just based on signings alone, I think they've gone about it the right way. So
you've got your typical. You've gone. There's a few younger players. So the Diarra who they signed from Strasbourg. He's coming for like 30 million, about 28 million quid, so decent money. Enzo Lefebvre as well, Adingra. So you've got a nice mix of some younger players, and then you've gone for this. It reminds me very much of when Leicester got Cambiasso when they came up. It's that sort of ilk of transfer. My thoughts on Granit Xhaka have been well documented. I don't rate him at all. I don't think he's very good, but he does bring a lot of experience, and I don't necessarily agree with making him captain straight away. I think that was weird. I think you're kissing his ass a bit too much. I think they're like, okay,
a little bit.
He might be the senior, the elder statesman, but just chill. Like there's players who've been there a bit longer who maybe should have deserved that. I don't know who was captain before, to be honest. So
I'm not sure who was captain.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think Sunderland on pay. I think Sunderland are one of those weird clubs that a lot of people seem to want them to stay up and be in the Premier League. I don't count myself as one of them. I used to hate them when they were in the Premier League because they were just always like, they always did that like great escape, like they were 20th for 30 games, and then the last 8 games they win, and we just made it. Just fuck off, like just go down. I'm sick of you. So I'm not very glad to see them back, to be quite honest.
We'll be there again soon. Don't worry about it. I think I want them to stay up more just to stop the rot of these 17 teams in the Premier League. Let's mix it up again.
I have the team that put them to the sword. Maybe is a nice segue. Burnley at the weekend. I think they're the ones. I think I'm the only person, and I'm going to go on record. Burnley are staying up this year, and I think Burnley are going to do well. And everyone is putting Burnley at the foot of the table. Their squad is good. Look at the players that they have at their disposal. It is a good, solid team, and they battered Sunderland on the weekend. This team that everyone thinks is so great.
Yeah,
they absolutely battered them. It was at Turf Moor, so I don't know if that played much into it.
Hot take here.
But when you start looking at their actual squad, like their incomings, for example, and some of this is going to depend, but Marcus Edwards plays for them, who's from Sporting Lisbon. You've got Jaden Anthony, formerly of Bournemouth, again Premier League experience. Quillen Hartman, who you signed from Feyenoord, who at one point was linked with Chelsea. There was a point where we were taking a serious look at him, and he got quite a serious injury,
Right.
in not too long
Yeah.
after we were linked, and it all sort of just disappeared after that. But again, a good, really, really solid defender. They've signed Leslie Ugochukwu from Chelsea, who I think will go, if they don't get relegated, I think if he has a good showing in the Premier League, he's going for 50, 60 million in a year or two. I think he's really, really good. And I'm actually a bit surprised we'd let him go on a permanent, but it was a big profit for us. If Brozier can stay fit, which is like if it doesn't rain in Manchester this week, then, the odds are slim. But if he does stay fit, you've got a really solid Premier League level striker there. He's not going to get you 25 goals, but enough to keep Burnley up for sure. And you add in the experience of Kyle Walker, Martin Dubravka. I think they've got a much better team than Leeds, much better team than West Ham, much better than Sunderland, who was clear on the weekend. So that's
interesting.
I think Burnley are going to surprise a lot of people, and this may come back to bite me. But yeah, I think Burnley have had a good window.
It does sound like it, though. Nipping back to Sunderland, my fix would be do it the same. Go big one more time. Forget PSR. It doesn't matter. Forest proved that. It doesn't matter. Look where they are now.
Yeah, just fucking go for it.
Go for it. Burnley. What is there a fix? Is there a fix? You seem very confident that they'll be the ones.
I think they've done it. I think they've done it. I think they just need to. I think the problem that they had last time is that they had Company, who was an egomaniac, and he was another one like Amorim, who was like, I have this one way of playing. If it's not this way, it's no way. And he got battered every week because they just didn't have the players to compete.
Well, Burnley defensively were unbelievable. I think they were the best team in Europe defensively last season.
Yeah, I think they conceded 17 goals all season, or maybe 18. It was absolutely insane.
However, that was with a great defence and quite expansive attacking, moving the ball around style football, which when I was listening to another podcast over the summer, Scott Parker has reiterated that is going to be their method again. And I was just like, oh, why? You've done the thing. You've got to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Don't be expansive. Be a bit pragmatic. Be a bit sensible. Shut up shop.
Yeah.
Do the thing and stay in the Premier League, because staying in the Premier League is a bigger deal than you getting the Chelsea job, Scott Parker, or like the England job, whatever this job, this expansive football wants to get you, and getting relegated at the same time. Don't do that. I'm more than happy. Yeah. I'm more than happy for Burnley to be the ones. They're as close as it gets for me getting an Arsenal ticket up here at the moment. Yeah. So it makes my life a little bit easier.
Yeah, keep them in the league.
Some teams who are going to be in and around the action at the moment. Let's go to, we'll do Everton and Villa. I'll take Everton.
Yeah.
You could take Villa. I want to say, first of all, new stadium, cool. Everton's new stadium, really cool.
That's good.
The signings, I'm a big fan of. Tyler Diblin, Jack Grealish. Basically signed Grealish and Grealish Jr. and Keenan Dewsbury Hall.
Top signing. He was good on the weekend as well.
I think it's a brilliant window.
Yeah.
I think Moyes should be happy. Who else was there anyone else who they brought in? They brought in a midfielder from Flamengo. Is it Alcaraz? Who looked handy. I don't know much about him, but he looked handy from what I'd seen, and maybe there's some magic to be worked there.
Yeah.
Moyes does love the odd South American thrown in. It's totally out of character for the Scot, but I like Moyes.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of him especially when he was out of a job before he went back to Everton, he speaks really well, and for an older statesman of the managers currently around, he doesn't speak like that, and is very modern and applied with the way he picks his teams and his personnel. And I think it's a good fit for a new Everton. This is what's going to be a brand new era. The training facilities have all been done. They're keeping Goodison Park in the family as well, so it's not like it's been turned into a car park or flats.
What are they doing with it?
It's become the women's state. The women's have.
Oh, is it?
Everton women has taken it over. It's
I like that.
for the community. Like, it's fantastic. Goodison Park's in a great area, and for the community, for it to still be part of Everton as a football club, while the men's team get this brand new magic shiny thing, which I don't know if you've been near it at all, and it's a fantastic bit.
Yeah, I drove past it about 6 weeks ago, maybe. I was in Liverpool, and it does look impressive. It's and they needed it. Goodison Park, because as much as we like those old stadiums,
I don't know if you've seen the Paddy Power advert of the Everton fan.
No,
I just got to describe it, and I'll put a link on our X account later on. But Paddy Power have been absolutely on one this summer. Like, I can't praise them enough. The Colleen Rooney advert was class, but the Everton one was. They were interviewing the world's most happy Everton fan, and he was like, "Yeah, it's been the best 40 years of my life. I can't wait to go to this new stadium." And then he shows a picture of his season ticket, and he was the one fan behind the girder for 40 years. He said, I've never seen us concede a goal. I haven't seen us score one either, but I think we've been doing all right. And the guy starts showing him like newspaper clippings and league tables, and he's like, "Oh, fuck him hell." Everton, I think they'll be all right. I'd like him to see them sign a striker, an actual striker. I think their defense is going to be okay. Tarkowski's still there. Branthwaite's signing a new contract. They've got Pickford, he's just solid.
Yeah.
You're not. They're going to create a lot of chances with them three in midfield. I'd like to see someone around there who can stick it in the back of the net on a consistent basis, and then maybe they can be a team who are on the outside challenging for Europe now instead of lingering, in the Man United zone down there.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Villa, quiet summer.
Aston Villa, it's another weird one. The fix for them seems to speak for itself, but we'll cover who they've brought in and who's gone. I must admit, I look at the names they've brought in. I don't know who any of these people are. Got Evan Gesson is their biggest incoming at 26 million-ish. He's a centre forward from Nice. Never seen him before. I think the problem with Villa, and everybody knows what the problem is with this, their PSR situation is absolutely woeful. Yep. I think I saw something where I think it's like 93% of their income is on salary.
Yeah,
I don't know how that's happened. I don't know how they've got themselves into that.
Yeah, they don't seem like. Are they still paying Coutinho's wages or something?
Yeah, I don't recall them bringing in like a household name that you thought, oh, that's weird for Villa.
Yeah,
and
like if they brought in Grealish and it's like, oh, well, he's on 250 grand a week, so that's a big chunk of the change. It's not the case. They don't have
that. It was really strange. So I don't know how. So I mean, the fix is there. Let's get it out of the way straight up. Bring that wage bill way down. Get rid of whoever these highest earners are. Get rid of them all. Yeah,
Tielemans has gone on a wedge. John McGinn, there's something fishy going on with him. He's some ski. You can't be that happy all the time on 20 grand a week. I'm not buying it.
Buzzing, isn't he? Yeah, I know what you mean. I think Villa have added poorly, probably. I mean, I don't know much. In fact, I say poorly, that's harsh. I don't know much about the players that they have brought in, but they've only brought in 2, and they've got Europa League football. And they almost had Champions League until they bottled it at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they were planning on going into the Champions League with this squad, naturally, Champions League would have meant more money, but they probably just spent it all on wages anyway. So would that have actually done anything useful for them? And on the outgoing, I think the issue for them, they're going to have to, and you're seeing it, Jacob Ramsey went to Newcastle for 40 million quid-ish. So big money. I reckon in either world, they probably wouldn't have lost him, but it is what it is. Leon Bailey's gone to Roma. So you've lost 2 attacking threats there, one from midfield and one out wide. You don't seem to have replaced them. And now, annoyingly, Tielemans might be the biggest earner. You now need him more than ever to do that Ramsey ball-carrying role. So I think Villa are in for a bit of a struggle. And I think I'm actually surprised that Morgan Rogers wasn't the one that they cashed in on. Because they could have got... I'm not saying he's worth it. I think he's a very good player. But they probably could have got 70 million for him.
I think he's worth every penny of that as well.
Oh dear.
I think he's really, really highly. The one player I'm surprised he's not cashed in on is Martinez, who seemingly said his goodbyes at the end of the summer and is still there.
Yeah, he's still there. I mean, no one seems to have, like Man United were linked heavily. They didn't go for him.
Man United should
Chelsea
have.
were linked. Yeah, United definitely should have because they could have got him for next to nothing.
I think he'd have been a good Chelsea goalkeeper too. He's a right shithouse.
Yeah, I love a shithouse. I really do. I would have 11 shithouses who are just horrible bastards to play against. I really would. But I think the days of when Martinez would have been a Chelsea caliber signing were 2-3 years ago. I think now he's maybe not quite that. So I don't know. Maybe they've decided, you know what, we'll just ride it out until your contract ends, and then we'll make a move. Because I knew for Villa, I think Villa did sign a goalkeeper actually, but they signed 2 goalkeepers. One who's 34, and one who's 21. He's come from the under 21. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one for them. I think bring that wage bill down. I don't know who the biggest earners are at Villa, but you've got to try and trim that to make so you don't have to sell your Jacob Ramsey. You don't have to sell Morgan Rogers.
Yeah. Moving on. The only other newly promoted team we've not spoke about, and I want to fly through these because I am conscious of time.
Yeah.
Leeds United signed Noah Okafor last week.
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign because I knew he was being touted around a little bit.
Yeah, he was.
They've gone for someone. He's listed as a winger, but I've always seen him as a striker. Either way, he's going to be in the forward areas, and he's going to fill a good gap for them. Dominic Calvert-Lewin come in, stay fit, lad.
Yeah,
that's all we can say. Keep him fit, do whatever you need to do. Sean Longstaff thinks it's a good signing. That's a good body in midfield. What I do think about Leeds, I think Daniel Farke's a good manager, and I believe if they are in trouble but not out of it by Christmas, I think the manager will be given money to spend to keep them in there. I think they're here for the long term.
Yeah.
So we'll see with that one.
Yeah. On Farke, just quickly, I do think he's a good manager. I just don't know if he's a Premier League manager.
Maybe not.
I'm not. Yeah.
Keeps coming up and getting sacked. So
yeah, he comes up, gets sacked, goes down, and comes back up again. He's becoming like a younger, sexier Neil Warnock, isn't he? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you read out some of those names there. I'm thinking that's relegation all over it. That for me.
Yeah, it was a very competitive championship last season, and they were right up there. But the team is very championship still.
Yeah,
with the exceptions of Calvert-Lewin to an extent, if he can stay fit, and Okafor.
Yeah,
I don't see loads on offer, but all they need to be is hard to beat at home and pick up points. Just keep picking up points. Like we're 2 weeks in, and every newly promoted team has got a win under the belt. So
yeah,
it makes for a good start for the Premier League.
Yeah, it does.
I think we'll revisit Leeds in January and see where they're at. I'm really undecided as to how well that team does. Like I said, I really just don't know. My fix, I don't know. Throw some confidence behind Daniel Farke, because even though he got promoted, there was talk of his future over the summer. Not much more this guy can do.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd be at. Let's fly through the remaining teams. Take your pick. I'll let you go first.
I think who we got left? Bournemouth. Let's have a fly through of Bournemouth.
Bournemouth lost every defender and every man who's tried to do anything good for them ever. They can't keep hold of someone.
Yeah. All their centre halves, or their top centre halves are gone. Left back's gone. And the right back's. I don't know. I can't remember the right. Oh, it's Tavernier, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they've brought in Adrian Truffert at left back, and they've brought in a guy called Diakite from Lille. So they've gone like for like for some of the positions.
Yeah.
Whether they turn out half as good as them, don't know. Hopefully, you like to think that the Bournemouth scouts are as good at picking these as they were the last ones, and off we go. So I think Bournemouth they're probably still good enough. I like what they've got going forward. Keeping Semenyo was massive, and not having him leave. They did lose Ouattara, but I think that Ben Doak,
from Liverpool,
and they've just signed a guy called Amin Adli from Leverkusen, who I think might again be like for like replacement for them. And then you add in the likes of Clive, who I think always chips in with a good number of goals.
Yeah,
I think they'll be okay. I think it'll be tough. It'll be a hard season for them, but I think they've got enough. I don't think they'll be in the bottom three.
Teams who might be in the bottom three. West Ham.
Oh, yeah, I reckon.
Not a great summer. Interesting signing was the Callum Wilson one. With obviously Mikel Antonio, his accident last year, but then being let go.
Yeah.
What they've done is give Callum Wilson an incentive-based contract because, again, someone who has struggled with availability, if like he's going to get 100 grand every time he kicks a ball.
Yeah.
But if he ain't kicking a ball, he's going to be on the breadline.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, we might see the fittest Callum Wilson we've ever seen.
That'll tell the whole story, won't it?
I'm not saying he's phoning it in, but this is a guy he's played for England and he's been a Premier League player for a long time, and we just haven't seen it consistently enough. I think he's a good finisher. I think he fits West Ham pretty well. And then it's just whether we can see him enough. So that one, I think the big glaring issues at West Ham are in the dugout and whether Potter can steady the ship. If he can steady the ship, I think they'll get behind him. My guess, though, is that he doesn't.
I think there's an argument that Potter put the hole in the ship in the fucking first place. Steady, he's the one fucking crashing it.
Steering the wrong way.
Yeah, they had a good thing with Moyes. They went back to him again and then got rid of him again. And I just don't really understand the logic of it because he was doing all right. Like, and I don't really know what West Ham fans expected after winning the Conference League. Like, if you speak to them, you think that they're going to win the European Cup, but it's just not who they are.
The expectations of West Ham fans is a podcast on itself.
Oh God, yeah,
The fix for West Ham, they're going to struggle. The fix for West Ham, I don't know. Make your mind up about the manager. I think is where we're going to be at.
Yeah,
they need support for Bowen. He can't do it all on his own. Paqueta is clear of any trauma now from previous years, so maybe they'll see a reinvigorated Lucas Paqueta, which can be helpful for anyone.
Yeah,
we'll see about that one. I don't think they've got enough. I think they've got a short squad, and staying up is the main target for them this year if they're going to be doing anything.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Wolves.
I think they might be the last one on our list, and maybe the last team in the Premier League.
No, I've got two more.
You got two more?
Have I given myself more to do here?
I think Brentford might be the only one left after that.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Again, they're going to really, really struggle. They've had a few years where goals have been at a massive premium. Any forward, like centre forward, proper striker just hasn't seemed to work. Whatever since they lost Raul Jimenez, really, they've not had that main focal point who can get goals on a regular basis for them. Whether Strand Larsen works out, he's massive. He looks a bit of a throwback type striker. Whether he works out, I don't know. But there's only so long that you can sell Cunha, Neto, Ruben Neves, and so on, and the list goes on. Aït-Nouri. There's only so long that you can do that before the wheels start to fall off. And they've got a good manager. I quite like their gaffer. I think he's good, but I don't know if they've got enough to. Again, there could genuinely be 6-7 teams really realistic.
I think so.
With not a lot of points between them.
I think it's going to be so competitive down there this season. Time will tell. And is there a fix? Is there anything? Is there a specific position?
Pray to God that Strand Larsen can smash some goals in. Fer Lopez, they brought a young winger in from Celta Vigo, and he's come with a little bit of promise. They always have someone like that, Wolves, don't they? Yeah, they do. And one of these signings could just bang and be your next Cunha or your next Neto or whatever it is. I think they'll leak a lot of goals. They just got to pray that one of these new forward signings can actually do something. So pray that there's three teams worse off than them, I reckon, and then just go again next year.
So last, Brentford and Fulham I've got left on my list.
Brentford and Fulham.
Fulham, not made any signings yet. I suspect that they will be shopping in Arsenal's fire sale on deadline day.
Yeah,
with
Reece Nelson. Could go for as well.
Reece Nelson available. He did well for them until he got injured. Whether they'll dip into that market again, I'm not sure. Who else? They need bodies in. They've only brought in a couple of players
Yeah.
on free, and they've not spent any money yet. They will need a couple of bodies, I suspect, if they're going to move and keep themselves out of that argument and find themselves slipping in. Because I think Fulham are like most teams. You saw them turn it on against United in the second half over the weekend. They can be competitive, and a little bit like Tottenham, they can beat anyone and lose to anyone.
Yeah, they are. I think I don't think they'll be bad enough to be down there, because I think they're well drilled. I've not been Marco Silva's biggest fan overall. I think he was a bit of a chancer early on in his career, and he just sort of got jobs for no reason, because he had that moody manager look, like looked a bit like a tactico, and he just didn't know what he was doing. But Iwobi's really stepped up for them. I've been super impressed with Alex Iwobi.
He looks like a leader of that club. It's mad,
he's
isn't
great. That might just be. Sometimes you just need to find the right fit for you as a club, as a home, and it seems to work for him. And again, if they've been linked quite heavily with Raheem Sterling. If you add someone like Raheem Sterling into a team like that, where he's the man, he is the big dog, and you can build a team around him that can create chances a bit. And this is where we saw the best of him at City. How most of Sterling's goals came, he was on the end of a move. He wasn't the facilitator. He wasn't in the build-up play that much. He was right place, right time. If you can get him in a team that can do that, I think you might see an half-decent Raheem Sterling again. But it just depends. I don't know if they'll pay the wages. The wages are just absolutely astronomical. And
I hope they don't.
To do that.
Both personally and, feelings aside, I think Reece Nelson works for them. He's already been there. He fit in well. They probably would have snapped him up straight away if he'd have stayed fit. He just did his knee in towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think that's a good signing for them, and it keeps them away from the dangers of getting their hopes up over Raheem Sterling. Anyway, and last but not least, Brentford with new manager Keith Andrews, who I think will be in this conversation down there. Spent a lot of money on Ouattara.
A weird one, that. I'm not really sure what his logic is in leaving Bournemouth. Maybe other than to live in London, perhaps. I can't.
Yeah. Let's leave this beautiful place near the sea and go and live in the centre of London, where I can't drive these Ferraris that I can never afford.
I mean, it's not exactly a popping off city centre in Bournemouth, having been. It's not exactly it's not Kensington, but it's just like, I don't know, as a team, Bournemouth, although they've had their struggles with losing players, you've got to think they're a better proposition to play for at the moment than Brentford, who have probably going to lose their other biggest goal threat after Mbuemo's.
Yeah.
And they've lost really the big thing with Brentford was always Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank was the kind of the glue that held it all together. No matter which players came and went, saw it with Ivan Toney, he came and went, and they were fine. When you lose that, a bit like how when Deitch left Burnley, they kind of became synonymous with each other. And I don't know. This managerial appointment is certainly a choice to go that way.
So Jordan Henderson coming in for them is just a bit of a. I think they expected it to be the Xhaka signing for Brentford, and it's totally uninspiring. And I think that goes along with the manager. Yeah. Whereas Sunderland are on the up, Brentford seemingly on the down. And it's worrying times for them. We'll see if this becomes the end of their stay. That wraps up the Premier League. Consider every Premier League team fixed. Now you can go and make your own predictions, and you'll feel free to join us next week. Fantasy football, I'm top. On your top, I think.
Yeah. Well, I made the shrewd move of captain Joao Pedro this week. And 30 points, and Gyökeres got 2. I did bench Ekatike for reasons I don't really know why I did that. I think my logic was, they're going to St James's Park, it's going to be tested, there might be a sweaty 0-0. That was my logic, and it did not pay off.
I think we're 1 and 2. I've never been this high up in fantasy football. It's mad. Obviously next week it'll be a shambles, but it's thank you everyone for joining. Remember, you must be subscribed to the YouTube channel if you want to qualify for any prizes that are on offer at the end of the season. We've got a big week of Premier League football. Then we're going to do our predictions episode. We've got an international break. I'm going to go and have a golf tournament. I'm going to recover from Creamfields because it was a fucking unbelievable weekend. We've had a sick time. You can find all the information for Creamfields at MLN the DJ on Instagram. You can find all the information for the podcast at fixingfootballpodcast.com. Scott, thank you very much.
No problem.
It's been
Anytime.
a pleasure. We'll see you next week, and we'll catch up with you all on the next one. Peace.
Indeed. See you later.